If you want to step in this way, you will see what it's like at the Beverly Hills Green Cross, where we welcome all qualified patients over the age of 21 in the state of California to our medical marijuana dispensary. But it's not just a dispensary, we're a religious dispensary, kind of like Catholic people run hospitals. And so what we have on the wall are quotes from the Bible, for example, Mark 4:20. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it, and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. Well, I became an advocate when I was 12 years old for marijuana. And then the first time I puffed was I was at my friend's house with her cute older hippie cousin who was at UC Berkeley. She was like a sophomore. And she's like, oh, have you ever tried marijuana? And I was like, yeah, when I was 12 or something, I tried it. I was all bragging, I didn't even inhale. And I tried pot and heard Pink Floyd for the first time in one weekend. I just thought, man, I can't believe that it's so good and so mild and everybody makes such a big deal out of it. I get Philip Morris annual reports and I say, all right, I'm gonna go to law school and be a lobbyist. Then I didn't have the money to go to law school, but my friends knew how into pot I was, so they helped me start the hemp stores. So I started 2000 BC, and then Mary Jane, and all the movie stars used to come in. And then I wrote the book 9021 Grow, because I started looking around at all the activists, like Jack and everything, they all had a book to hawk. Right here at the front desk is where patients would come in to get qualified. We got a computer and a lovely employee right now, Mr. John. He will sign you up and make sure you're a qualified patient before you can go over to the dispensary. And while you're waiting, you can visit our lovely t-shirt shop here at Terrace Tees. So you can walk in, this is a completely separate location. And available at the store is a book I wrote called 9021 Grow. But what happened with 9021 Grow is I was approached by a woman named Jill Ishkanian. So they called me up to verify a story that someone else had called them with. So I verified the story. I said, yeah, no problem. I said, I'd be happy to see Brad Pitt come out for pot like Woody Harrelson did. After that, Jill said, oh, well, you need to write a story. You need to write a story about your pot experience. But there wasn't that much to say sensational. I never smoked out with Brad Pitt. I just sold him bongs. He was a big star, but in his mind, he wasn't as big a star just yet, so he was like still rolling in the store. He's like, hey guys, how's it going? We're like, hey man, how you doing? Like, what you working on? He's like, oh, I'm making a movie with Harrison Ford. He's like, you know who that is? We're like, dude, Han Solo, of course we know, you know? He's like, yeah. He's like, dude, he puffs. We're like, no way, Han Solo puffs. He's like, yeah, we're puffing out every day. And over here, when patients come in, what they can do is look at our viewing table, and they can view the different cannabis varieties that we have, and use a magnifying glass so that they can see the trichomes, which is the medicinal aspect of marijuana, stuck to the outside of the plants, the crystals as they're called. I was able to work on the show Weeds because I had just written the book 9021 Grow. A friend of mine knew the producers, and he said, hey, you gotta talk to this guy who's just written a book. He owned a hemp store. He really is in the industry. And so I went in and I gave him a 3-hour presentation on marijuana and the industry and the culture. And they thought it was funny. I gave them all copies of my book, 9021 Grow. And they said, hey, we want to hire you to be a consultant on the show. So I was like, hey, do you think I could be on the show? I'm thinking like, hey, this is my big opportunity to be a star. And they were like, yeah, you're funny. We'll make a role for you. I was like, cool. And then they made me audition to play myself. What did you guys think? Did you like the place? Yeah, no, I found this spot. You know, I was very happy when I found it. I'm like, 30,000 cars drive by a day heading to the freeway. I got plenty of parking in front, and it's on the way to Beverly Hills. Nothing but Mercedes and BMWs rolling by. Marijuana is specifically mentioned in the Bible, in the book of Exodus, in the holy anointing oil. It's called Cannabis, a plant that's grown 12 months a year, that has at least 12 fruits, and the leaves of the plant are used for the healing of all nations. So we used it as a sacrament to bring people in and just teach them the word. All we ever taught was the 10 Commandments and the testimony of Jesus Christ. One of the interesting things I noticed about the social connectivity of marijuana was when I was a student at UCLA. You had the African American Student Association, gay and lesbians and gays, bisexuals, Jewish Reform, conservative Jewish. You know, everybody had their own freaking separate group. Like the pot club, the free speech club, because we smoked pot every time we got together for free speech, had the most diverse ethnically, nationality, economically. We were everybody, and we all came together and we all treated each other with respect, and we all smoked the herb. And that's one of the things that the herb does, is it brings people together. It's a plant. It's natural. God created it. And that's one of the reasons I think God did create it, is to bring people together. Hi, it's Craig X from the Beverly Hills Green Cross on Robertson Boulevard. Come visit. I'm gonna be on Ajnog, ganja.com backwards. Check it out, it's gonna be good. Stay tuned. Coming right now. Put down the bong.